Here's our men's national team reporter, Matthew Shetti. Matthew, you are the one to break this story. What details can you give us on Canada's soccer's search for a new head coach of the men's national team and how they ultimately landed on Jesse Marsch?
You know, Jay, over the last few weeks, we kept on hearing names associated with the men's national team job, and the names that kept coming up were Jesse Marsch and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Stefan Kuntz. And, you know, earlier today I was talking with a bunch of my sources, and they were saying the final three were Jesse Marsch and Kuntz and Solskjaer. But those last two names just kind of fell away because when they were having all these meetings and interviews in New York City, Jesse Marsch's name kind of stood among the rest because of the presentation that he brought to Kevin Blue and this search committee. And the search committee was full of former players, Josh Simpson, Rob Friend, Atiba Hutchinson, and Julian de Guzman. And everyone was so impressed because Jesse Marsch looked at the men's national team and the talent they had. He talked about it today, the intelligence and the pace that they play with and the style that he plays with. And Jesse Marsch, I know we'll get into this, his experience in the Red Bull system with the New York Red Bulls and Red Bull Salzburg and Leipzig, knowing the intensity that he likes to play with, he just felt there was a natural fit. And when Kevin Blue took a look at not only Jesse Marsch and everything that he's accomplished in his coaching career, which is quite substantial, but the way that he was able to connect the way he wants to play with the current national team, it just seemed an easy fit.
You said it, Matthew. He brings substantial experience, both club and internationally. What more can you tell us about Marsch and his experience?
Well, certainly Jesse Marsch had a really, really long career in MLS, had over 300 appearances, won 3 MLS Cups. But I think the most significant thing, and we talked about this, with all the great work that John Herdman did and the philosophy that he built within that brotherhood that is the men's national team, they were looking for a transition to a coach that perhaps had more club experience, had a certain kind of tactical philosophy. And Jesse Marsch, and this is not his first time coaching a Canadian team. He was the first ever head coach of the Montreal Impact when they came into MLS and before they became CF Montreal. But he had time, as I said, with the New York Red Bulls, and then the Red Bull system throughout Europe, particularly with Salzburg, where he won a League and Cup double in back seasons, and then with RB Leipzig. Now, when you might take a look at the RB Leipzig and then his time with Leeds in the Premier League, the success may not be as evident, but he did coach in the Champions League before he moved on from RB Leipzig. But maybe crucially, the experience that he had in the Premier League, being able to avoid relegation with Leeds. He was sacked later the next season, but that kind of experience certainly informed where he is now in his career. And he talked about it, wanting to be reinvigorated again. And maybe an interesting point, he wanted this job. He told the media today once before, he wanted to be the Canadian men's national team head coach. Now he gets that job, and it's going to be a big task because right away he's going to face the Netherlands and France in the Copa America pre-tournament tune-up for Canada in Europe. And he's going to want to install right away because we've been seeing the promos. We've been talking about it nonstop. Canada will face Argentina on June 20th, and Jesse Marsch, he's going to want to go ahead and have everything installed at that point because it's a huge task facing Lionel Messi and the World Cup champions.
And you talked to some of the players, Matthew, after this was announced. What are their reactions to the hiring?
Quite coy, actually, Jay, if I do say so. I was asking them what they felt about Marsch because some of these players had mentioned to me in past that they were looking for that next step in the evolution of the men's national team. They were keeping tight-lipped, and that has nothing to do with maybe not wanting Jesse Marsch as the head coach, but maybe a wait-and-see approach. Although there was one player who wanted to remain anonymous. When I spoke to him, knowing that the way that Marsch wants to play, he said, F me, knowing that the amount of intensity and the running and the nonstop go, go, go that is the Jesse Marsch style, which he brought in through the Red Bull system. So there's going to be a lot of expectation on Jesse Marsch. But this is what everyone around the men's national team wanted. A guy with an established resume who comes in with substantial European experience, having coached in many different European leagues and the Champions League. You got that guy now, but it's a big task ahead.
And Matthew mentioned it, Canada, a couple of friendlies to get ready for Copa America against France and the Netherlands before Copa begins on June the 20th. This is Matthew Shetti. He is our national team reporter.